Hello and welcome to week 9 in our 4th grade classroom. If you are new to my channel, welcome. My name is Mariely Sanchez and I'm a 4th grade teacher in South Florida. Today is Monday, October 18, 2021, and I'm coming to you way at the end of the day. I was doing bus duty today, and today we had like 2 buses that were over an hour late to pick up the students. So I was out there helping to monitor students and make sure they got on their buses. So it is actually past 5 right now, and I need to make this quick because I'm going to Orange Theory today. So let me give you a glimpse of our agenda for today and then talk to you a little bit about the highlights for today. We started our morning by finishing our reading test, and the students actually ended up needing to take more time to finish. So that was the bulk of that for the morning. So I did end up using some of our bonus reading and writing time since Spanish was canceled, and I really needed to introduce the new unit. So we went over the essential question, the opener video. I did the read aloud, which introduced the genre. And I also introduced the spelling words. They did a spelling pretest. And we went to the computer lab so students can put their answers to their reading tests online, as well as do some iReady lessons. So that brings us down to math, where we did our weekly review, went over multiplication strategies, and reviewed that. So we didn't have time for problem solving, which we'll move for tomorrow. Then it was lunch, recess, PE, and in science, we were working with weathering and erosion. In reading, we started discussing drama and elements of drama or plays. So that was a really great way to introduce the students to it. We didn't get to our shared reads, so that will definitely happen tomorrow. Usually I don't have time for shared reads when we are introducing the unit. I do put it there just in case we have time, but because the students were finishing their reading test from last week's last unit, I went ahead and I just made the decision to move it for tomorrow. So we'll have time to really read through it and discuss the elements of plays and dramas, as well as one of our other standards for the week, which is theme. So in math, we finished our weekly review from last week, and we went over a math on the spot video like I've showed you in the past. I show them the video from Math on the Spot from Go Math, and I pause it when they show the problem. Then I just leave the problem on the board and have the students work it out on their whiteboards. Then I have the students talk to each other about how they got to the answer and the strategy they used. And then I have the students share the answer. As they share the answer, the students can agree or disagree with that answer or the method, or they can share another method of how they found the answer. And then we watch the remainder of the video. It's really great to see that most of the students worked it out the way that I worked it out in my example, but then Professor Berger worked it out in a different way that still yielded the same answer. So that was really great. And then we reviewed all 4 different ways that we multiply. So I'll show you that right now. So here is my paper where I was working out the problem. Basically, there were 2 label machines. One placed labels in 13 bottles every minute, and the other one placed labels on 16 bottles every minute. We needed to find out how many bottles were labeled by both machines after 25 minutes. So obviously we had to multiply. So in my way, I multiplied machine A and then machine B separately and then added those together. The way that Professor Berger did it was that he added 13 plus 16, which was 29, and then multiplied that by 25. So instead of being 3 steps like I did and most of the students did, we could have done it just in 2 steps. So it's great to have the students see the different ways that this problem could be solved. Then on the board on my Active Inspire Promethean software program, I created this graphic, which is just a chart that shows distributive property, area model, partial products, and regrouping, so they can see another problem that we were working on and how we can solve it with the distributive property, area model, partial products, and regrouping, and how were they alike. Because I told them this 465 is just like if I added these 2 together, I get 465. Just like this 1,860 is like if I added these 2 together. And see how this is similar to this and similar to this and all similar. So they can see it in one place, how all of these different strategies are similar. I created this very simply on a PowerPoint first. So I went on PowerPoint and I created this rectangle, and then I drew these lines, and then I labeled each box. And then what I did is I selected all of it, and then I right-clicked it, and then you save it as a picture right there. Save it as picture. It saves it as a PNG, and then I just went into my Active Inspire and went into Insert and Media, and I was able to select the picture right here. I mean, it looks black right now, but that's actually the same picture that is back here, and I'll just show you. So if I insert a new page, I go here, Media, and I go 4 ways to multiply and open. Here it is, and I can move it and center it on the page. So I have a new spread to show the students 4 different ways to multiply. In science, since we're doing weathering and erosion, I went ahead and showed them this vocabulary video. Of course, we went over the vocabulary cards first, and we listened to the lyrics of the video, and the students were able to review weathering and erosion. They got to see different video and photo illustrations of what weathering and erosion and deposition look like. So it was great to show them that. And we went ahead and started reading the lesson from our book, which we'll finish tomorrow. So let me show you what I have planned for homework this week. So I have written my homework right here, which is the board right by the door when they come in. And these are the different pages that they have so they can practice their spelling words with the 3-letter blend that we're going over. So there's actually 2 pages front and back for spelling homework, if I can get it to turn to the next page. So they have different activities to do to help them practice their spelling words before the test on Friday, as well as a passage that goes over a drama so they can see the elements of drama and follow it so that they can then answer the questions that are right after the passage. For math, they have this weekly math log, again, that they practice math fluency and is due at the end of the week. And along with these 2 different things, they also have 2 pages from their math books. All right, that's all I have for you for right now. I need to hurry up, change my clothes, and get to Orange Theory, so I will see you tomorrow. Hello friends, it is now Tuesday and I am wearing my Marvel Superhero Girl shirts because today was Superhero Day. We were actually having Spirit Week and I completely forgot yesterday about it. So tomorrow I'm gonna make sure I remember. Tomorrow is Unity Day, so we get to wear an orange shirt to show unity, and also it's Crazy Hat Day to support the United Way. So I'm thinking of wearing probably my mini ears, my rose gold ones that I got from Disney. So we'll see. Or maybe I'll wear something else. I don't know. But I'm coming to you from Tuesday. I don't know if I already said that. I'm sorry. I'm just rambling. So let's go ahead and take a look at the agenda and show you the highlights from today. As you can see from our agenda, we have accomplished a lot of different things, and all except the bonus math, which I ended up just extending our chapter 3 review test so that we can finish it. And I'm okay with that. It was bonus math anyway. And then we ended the day with science. So today I finally started my Patterns of Power lessons and invitations, which is a strategy that I learned from Jeff Anderson. I went to one of his presentations last week that our district put together for us, and he talked about his book, and I ended up purchasing it. It is a little pricey, but it has all the lessons that you need. So it introduces you to the patterns of power, how to use it in your classroom. It only takes about 5 to 10 minutes a day. It literally took us 5 minutes to do the first invitation today. And it's great because it's having the students look at good examples of grammar, sentences, and mentor text, and looking at the patterns to determine meaning and the effect that the sentence was going for. So let me show you what the book looks like. So this is the book for elementary, grades 1 through 5. He actually has this for middle school, and there's a high school book coming up as well. So it starts off with some introductions so that you get started with the patterns of power. So there's a couple of different chapters that go over that. But then this is what we were working today. So you get the actual lessons. And the first lesson is actually an example, but you can still use it. So you start by first choosing a standard that you want to focus on and then creating a focus phrase that you don't tell the students right off the bat. You just lead them to that focus phrase after they get to notice what is happening with the sentence. And they give you some tips on what the students may observe. So you have invitation to notice, invitation to compare and contrast, invitation to imitate, invitation to celebrate, invitation to apply, and invitation to edit. And this is how it basically looks. You can even put this up on your document camera so you can show, except that I didn't do that with this one because it gives you little notes on how to use the invitation. So I just put it on a PowerPoint, and this will be the second day, invitations for compare and contrast, which we'll do tomorrow. And then it goes on to how to try it out, an invitation to edit. But if you can see, these are all the different grammar skills that are reviewed throughout the entire book, and it keeps on going. So there's a whole lot of different skills that you can review with the students throughout the entire year, and you have all the lessons in the book already here for you. So it has the information and then the actual pages that you can show on the document camera so the students can go over those particular skills. Love it. So this is how I put it on my daily slide. What do you notice? And it started a conversation, and the students were able to share different things that they noticed, and we wrote them on the board. So these are the different things that the students noticed at first. They noticed Mr. and Mrs. And then we dug a little deeper, and then the students would say, well, Mr. is male, and it's a short way of saying Mr. So it's abbreviation. These are titles. Mrs. is female, and it's short for Mrs. And then they started to notice, well, Mercy is capitalized and Watson is capitalized. So that led us to understand that our focus phrase for this week is I capitalize names, so that they know that whenever they see a name, it gets capitalized. So then we went over shared read using the SPADE strategy. We went over academic vocabulary and antonyms, which is our vocabulary skill for the week. We reviewed the elements of drama, which is what we're focusing on as our genre, as well as theme, and going over the strategy of ask and answer questions. So that's basically what we focused on in reading for today. Then it was time to go to the computer lab so students can work on completing iReady minutes. And then it was time for writing, which we went ahead and reviewed our spelling words along with irregular plural nouns and starting to analyze that prompt that the students will be writing their essays to. We went into math and we finished our weekly review, reviewing different things that we have learned so far and previewing things that we're learning soon, as in division in chapter 4, which we start in 2 days. And of course, we went over our chapter 3 review, which I had another review game that I introduced to the kids. And let me show you how easy it was to put together. So I went to a PowerPoint because I knew that I wanted a hundreds chart. So to show you how easy it was for me to create this hundreds chart, I will just create a new slide here. So let's make a new slide. And I went to insert and then table and then insert table so that I can put a 10 by 10 table. Now, when it comes out, it looks like this. Not exactly what I wanted. So I selected the table, and the first thing I did was I did no fill. And then I made sure that I went to a thicker outline, so 2.5 point. And then I clicked over here where it says all borders. So there it is, but it still doesn't look like I want it. So then I go up here to layout, and then I go here to the height, and I made it a 7 by 7. And just like that, it creates a hundreds chart. Now, once I created my chart, I want to be able to put it as a background in a Jamboard. What I did is I right-clicked on it, like when you see the arrows like this, like crosshairs, right-click on it, and you're going to go down to Save as Picture. And that'll save it as a PNG. So you give it a title. See, I already have it there, 100 chart. And once I have it saved, I can then go to a Jamboard. Here it is after the students used it today. So let me show you how quickly I put this together. So I'm going to create a new frame. And I go here to Set Background and then create background from a picture. And then from there, I can go to Upload. I can browse. I can find that 100 chart right there. And I can open it. And I'll just wait for Google to upload it. And there it is. So once it's there, I clicked on the little sticky notes and I just put an X. You could put whatever you want. If you want to put different letters for each team, that's fine. So I put an X and notice that it's pretty big. So I go here, clicked on it, and I resized it from the corner until it sort of fit inside of this square. Once I had that, I put it off to the side. I clicked on these dots right here. I duplicated it. I moved it, and then I clicked again on those dots, the hamburger, click edit, and then I changed the color. So I had different colors for each team. So I can go back here, duplicate this one, move it here, click again to edit, choose the next color, And now I have different sticky notes that each of my groups, I had 4 groups, but however many groups you need, but the only difference is that there's only 5 colors in Jamboard that you can use. So here are my 4 colors. So every time a student group got to answer a question, and if they answered it correctly, I would just click here to duplicate it, move it over here. The students will come to the Promethean board right there, and they would drag it to whatever spot they wanted to put their sticky note to. All right, so this is how I did it. I actually use the review test, the chapter review test that's in Go Math. This is the test right here, but we actually skipped this page and we started over here. So what I did is I put all the teams into the Wheel of Names, which is this free website right here. Is literally just wheelofnames.com. And I randomly selected the teams. Once the team was selected, I removed it so it can give an opportunity for the other teams. And then they will give me the answer to any question that I told them to answer. If they got it correct, they got to take their sticky and place it on the board to try to do a Connect 4. We did have one team do a Connect 4 towards the end after we finished, but this game could have actually kept on going. And the whole point would have been for them to see how many Connect 4s they could have gotten throughout the entirety of the game. And again, this game could have been as long or as short as you wanted it. Also, instead of a 100 chart, you could have done a 5x5 chart with 25 squares, any type of grid so that they can put their Post-its or their sticky notes or digital sticky notes on the grid. Loved it. The students were engaged. They were solving problems. So we're working collaboratively. And now they're going to take a test tomorrow. So let's hope that they transfer those skills that they were practicing today onto their test tomorrow. So then, of course, the students went to lunch. And after lunch, we continued with this game. And then after that, they went to music. And we ended the day with science, where we went over weathering and erosion, specifically chemical and physical weathering. And the students started under double bubble to compare and contrast physical and chemical weathering. So this is my example where I was guiding students. We didn't finish, so we'll finish this part showing how physical weathering is different from chemical weathering. And then I'll have students use colors to do secondary colors for the similarities and primary colors for the differences, different colors obviously, so that it can kind of stand out. So this is one way that they are making sure they understand the difference between physical, which is also known as mechanical weathering, and chemical weathering. And that's it for our Tuesday. Lots of stuff that we got done. And I just have to say, yesterday when I left, I did not make it in time to Orange Theory. I was actually 8 minutes late and it was past the cutoff time. So I missed it. And it was mostly because the buses took forever to get here. And then I wanted to make sure I let you know how our day went. But today I am not missing my class. I do have another Orange Theory class booked for this afternoon. So right now I'm gonna finish off this clip right here, change, and go to Orange Theory to get my workout on. So I will see you tomorrow. Hello and welcome to Wednesday. I'm coming to you at the end of the day with my Mickey ears because today, of course, was Crazy Hat Day. So this is not really a hat, but it's my, rendition of a crazy hat, even though it's amazing and super magical. But I'm not gonna wear them the whole video. I just wanted to show you. So anyway, let's go ahead and go into what we ended up doing today for our day of learning. We started our day with patterns of power. We did the invitation to compare and contrast, which you can see here on the board. And yes, I corrected myself and I let the students know that I mistakenly put Mrs. MRS as MISSES, but it's actually the abbreviation for mistress, even though we read it as Mrs. But that I wanted to clarify for them. But this is our double bubble that we completed together. As students let me know what they noticed about the mentor sentence and the new sentence, they let me know what they had that was similar and what the mentor sentence had that was different and what was different for the new sentence. And I'll show you in a moment what that slide looked like. But this is a great way for my students to show what they noticed as they compared and contrasted both sentences. And again, we went over our focus phrase for this week, which is I capitalize names. So then we went ahead and we did a rereading of The Ant and the Grasshopper. So once we did that, we worked on annotations, vocabulary review, we did the theme, and I didn't check it, but we did do the reading response, which I'll show you. Spanish was canceled, so we're moving this over. We had snack time, writing, we reviewed our spelling words, practiced irregular plurals, and we read the first source and annotated it, so I'll show you that as well. The students were working on their chapter 3 topic tests, and some of them needed more time. So after lunch, we used the little bit of science that we have on Wednesdays for the students to finish their topic tests. So I will make some time tomorrow for them to finish their double bubble on the 2 different types of weathering, and time for them to complete their lesson quiz. So this is the slide for our patterns of power for today. So these are the 2 sentences. So we have our mentor sentence. Mr. and Mrs. Watson have a pig named Mercy. And the new sentence is Dr. Gonzalez has a cat named Aristotle. So again, you saw the compare and contrast double bubble, so you can see what the students noticed about these 2 sentences and how are they alike and different. So again, we went over our focus phrase, and then we went over the rereading of the shared read. So we made annotations, we talked about how the setting contributes to the plot, we talked about the characteristics of play, as well as doing the reading response. So these are the questions that the students responded to, but I did put them on a sheet of paper similar to the ones that I've shown you in the past. And here it is right here. So I was actually modeling for the students how to restate the question so that they don't start with a pronoun. Here it's okay that they start with a pronoun because they're asking for their opinion. But in the other sentences, I don't want them to say it is. I want them to say the theme is, because I want them to write their answer as if the person reading their answer didn't read the question. So I went through all of that. And of course, these don't have that because they're copying 2 sentences that should be part of the summary. So this is our writing. So let me go to the reading portion of our lesson today, which was here with the ant and the grasshopper. So as you can see, we did a lot of annotations going over the margins and the questions that we were working with. And we did it throughout the entire story. We have already read the story 3 times. So the students have a really good understanding of how the elements played a part in telling us the story. And we also went over the vocabulary here and our antonyms, which is our vocabulary skill for this week. And we also did the graphic organizer on theme, if I can get that page to turn. It's kind of a little sticky here. Here we go. So we did this. We had 2 clues, then we found 3 more clues, and we arrived at the theme, which of course was implied because we were learning about how themes can be implied or stated. So since this theme for this particular story was implied, we were gathering clues to figure out what that theme would be. So once they did that, it was pretty simple for them to answer this question along with a lot of the other questions. This was our little review for irregular plural nouns. So we went ahead and did that. And then it was time for writing. So for writing, we read source 1 and we did the annotations for source 1, as you can see, so that we're learning of different ways that plants, animals, and humans depend on each other to survive. So we will then start to gather our evidence as we read through the rest of the sources. There's 3 sources in total, and this is where we will gather our evidence. So all in all, it was a really great morning for ELA, reading and writing. And then of course, it was time for math, where students took chapter 3 test. And I am looking forward to debriefing that test with them once all of them are done, because I believe there's like maybe 2 students that still need to finish. So I'll give them that time tomorrow. And before I leave you, I wanted to show you again some of my favorite websites that I have used in the past. And I wanted to just touch upon them again. One of them I have been using progressively this year. The other 2 I haven't used as much. One of them I completely forgot, but I want to introduce my students because it's fun, even if I don't use it all the time. So one of the websites is Safeshare TV. You basically can get YouTube videos and put them here by adding a safe view. You copy and paste the URL of that YouTube video, and you can play the video without any ads. And as you can see, I use it for a lot of my classroom music. This over here shows that this video is no longer available, so I'll just remove that. but I have like 2 different playlists. So I have the free version, so I can only have 2 playlists, but I have a Minecraft and Zelda lo-fi playlist and a lo-fi hip-hop study music playlist, and I play it from time to time when students are working independently. The other website, of course, is Classroom Screen, which is amazing. There is a free version. Now there's also a paid version, but I just use the free version. You can change the background to have different dynamic backgrounds, and you can also have backgrounds that are not dynamic. Like here's a little Halloween themed one. You have a random name generator. You also have dice. You can use 1, 2, or 3. And it's a lot of great little interactive things. You can also use a sound level system. And while I was thinking of the sound level system, that's what made me think of Bouncy Balls. So this is bouncyballs.org. And if you have a microphone attached to your computer, you can set the sensitivity. You can determine how many, bouncy balls you want and how many little you want. And you can decide whether you want plastic bouncy balls, emojis, bubbles, or eyeballs, which I think will be great for Halloween for next week. But over here, you can decide if you want no sound, beep, or shush when the noise gets too high. So if I go increasing it, see, it's too loud. So I can bring it back down so that the sensitivity is to where I want it, and the students can see their noise level and how it is being affected. So that's another one, but Classroom Screen does have this one as well. And again, you can move these around and you can, close them once you are done. But there's a ton of other different things. You can add media, a QR code, you can draw, add text box, use work symbols to show them what they need to be working on for any work. You can even have a traffic light where you can choose what you're doing there, a timer, and you can also have a stopwatch if you want instead, a clock, and a calendar. And obviously you can also go here to the little cog work or the little settings icon, and you can actually change the color of the background so it's different. So again, these are different things that I wanted to share with you that I kind of have forgotten about Bouncy Balls, but I did use Classroom Screen a few times this year already, and my Safeshare TV playlist for music, I use it all the time. So that's all I have for you for today, Wednesday. I am very tired, so I'm gonna grab my things, go home, relax, and tomorrow is another day. Hello everyone and welcome back. It is actually Friday. So what happened yesterday, I meant to come and film and let you know how our Thursday went. But at the end of the day, when I was at bus duty, I started to have pressure on my chest and pain. And I knew that it was anxiety from being out there with a crowd of students trying to tell them to please be careful of the bus ramp for oncoming buses and trying to make sure that the students were safe. It was just a lot, and since last week, I had my panic attack, I wasn't surprised that I was already starting to feel that. So once my students were all in their buses, I went inside and I went to speak to my administrator to let them know how I was feeling, but at the time she wasn't there. So I went to the book fair and I ended up buying some books, which I'll show you in a moment. But after that, I did go to my administrator and I let her know that I was getting anxious while being in the bus, and she just gave me some ideas on what I could do, where I could just go out there, and if I'm starting to feel kind of not okay, to make sure that my students know what to do and to let the security guard or another teacher out there know, and then go inside. So I'll just play it by ear to see how that goes. Right after that, I had to come to my classroom, change clothes, and go to Orange Theory and have a good workout. And I had a great workout. So now we're here on Friday, October 22nd, 2021. So I want to first talk to you about the highlights from yesterday. So we started off by doing our patterns of power, which I'll show you in a moment, the sentence that we worked on. Then we read Ranita, and we worked on an annotated reading sheet, which I'll show you in a moment. That also had a theme organizer. We did bonus reading. We read the sources for writing, and then we introduced chapter 4 division in math. After that, we went to the lab so students can work on reflex math. We went to lunch, had some bonus math where we continue with division, and then the students went to art. Then it was time for science and social studies, where I had the students finish their double bubble for science, which I'll also show you my completed example. And the students took the quiz for weathering and erosion. And then I introduced them to chapter 3 of social studies, which actually went over until today. So let's go ahead and look at those things from yesterday. So for yesterday's patterns of power, I actually had the students imitate the mentor sentence. So again, our mentor sentence was Mr. and Mrs. Watson have a pig named Mercy. And then I went ahead and showed them the compare and contrast sentence as well. Dr. Gonzalez has a cat named Aristotle. So then I went ahead and on the board, I wrote my imitation sentence. Miss Sanchez has a cat named Grace. And then the students helped me come up with some other sentences. After that, I gave the students all an index card, and then I had them write their own sentences using the mentor sentence as inspiration. So I have a collection of all their sentences that we are going to continue to celebrate. Then we went ahead and went over our focus phrase for this week, which is I capitalized names. For reading, we worked on this annotated reading sheet, again, that I created, similar to the ones that I created at the beginning of the school year. So I had different questions here, and the student will answer them on Post-its and put the Post-its on top. So it goes over a variety of things, which includes elements of drama, which is plays as well as character development, predictions, and theme. So we didn't get to answer this one yet. And by the way, yesterday, all that we did was this one, and I believe this one. So today, Friday, we continue the rest, and we haven't answered this one yet because we are going to complete the graphic organizer on the back. We're going to write different clues that will lead us to the theme of the story, and then answer one more question. How do the actions of Vieja Sabia help you determine the theme of the play? So, of course, this will then carry on until next week. During science, we finish our double bubble comparing the two different types of weathering, physical versus chemical weathering. So the last time we had done the similarities along with the differences of chemical weathering, but this time around we went ahead and did the differences of physical weathering, and the students finished their double bubble as well. Then during social studies, the students got this little booklet that I have created where we started with the introduction of what they had for lunch and how that is similar or related to the Southeast and some important facts from that section. Today, when I was not here with the students because I was at a meeting at the end of the day, today being Friday, the students then worked on reading the rest of the chapter and answering these questions as they read each section. So I know the students didn't finish this booklet today. So next week when we do social studies, we're going to wrap up this booklet so that we can review all of the concepts from chapter 3 on how geography affects life in the Southeast, and then the students can take their test. Next week, of course, is not only the 10th week of school, but it's also the end of our first grading period. So let's now take a look at our agenda for today. So here's our agenda for today. The students did have a spelling test this morning. And again, we continue to read Ranita, and we worked on the annotated reading sheet, which I just showed you. Bonus reading in Spanish were canceled for today, so we went ahead and had our irregular plurals quiz, but we actually ran out of time because we were working on the annotated sheet with Ranita. So next week we'll finish reading the last source of writing, gathering our evidence, and we can start writing our essays. Then in math, we actually ended up going over homework, which I forgot to add to the agenda here. So I didn't have time to go through interpret the remainder because we had computer lab time and the students needed to work on their reflex and iReady minutes. So I am moving that to next week. We had lunch, recess, PE, and then at the end of the day, the students were with another teacher while I was at my meeting working on that booklet that I just showed you for social studies. I wanted to show you some of the books that I did get from the book fair. I did buy books like I mentioned yesterday, but I also went again today and I got some more books. So this is the bag of books that I got yesterday. So we have Our Table by Peter H. Reynolds, which is a book that I've been hearing about and I'm looking forward to reading to my kids. And I also picked this one up because I thought it was so nice, What Makes a Hero, and it features some Marvel characters that are girls. I got The Unteachables by Gordon Corman. I also got Super Gifted by Gordon Corman because I have the first book already in my library, so I wanted to get the second book. And look at these prices. These are so awesome. And I got some graphic novels as well. So I got Forget Me Not and Not Enough, as well as Stargazing. And then today I got these other books. So I got Lila and Hadley. I couldn't read the name because of the sticker. And I also got Owly, The Way Home, which is a graphic novel. I got this book because I thought my son would like it. It is a PvP minigames guide for Minecraft, so I'm taking that home. I got this Minecraft graphic novel, Battle Station Prime, Escape from Fortress City. Again, Minecraft and graphic novel. I think my students will like that. This is another one that I thought was cool. It's an R.L. Stine Just Beyond graphic novel for $5. So I thought that'll be neat. Here's another graphic novel, Stepping Stones, for $2. Another book that looked really, really interesting. This is With the Might of Angels, and the premise of it is really, really interesting. So I wanted to go ahead and read it as well as have it in my library. I also got some really cool pens, like this Wiggly Flamingo pen and this unicorn pen. I love the color blue. And I also got this book by Susan Verde, I Am One, a book of action. One more thing that I forgot to mention was the patterns of power that we did for today. So today we did an invitation to edit. So let me show you the slides that I created for that. So for today's patterns of power, we went ahead and looked at different sentences that are similar to the mentor sentence, but something changed. So each time I showed a sentence, I would ask the students what changed and what is the effect of the change. So here's the first sentence. Mr. and Mrs. Watson have a pig named Mercy. So of course, the thing that changed here was that Watson is now in lowercase. So we talked about how that just causes names to not be as important when they're not capitalized. And that's why it's important to capitalize names, because we want to draw readers' attention to those names because they are important. Here's another one. Mr. and Mrs. Watson had a pig named Mercy. So obviously the students were able to see that the verb changed from have to had. So have being a present tense and had being a past tense. So it makes the reader wonder what happened to Mercy. How come Mr. and Mrs. Watson no longer have her? And the last sentence was this one, which had the letter Y in Mercy also be capitalized. So the students talked about the fact that we don't capitalize just any letter. When we capitalize names, we only capitalize the first letter. And again, we went ahead and reviewed our focus phrase for the week of I capitalize names. All in all, it was a pretty good day, and right now I'm getting ready to go. So I hope you enjoyed coming along with me on our 9th week of school and looking at all the great learning activities that we were able to do in the classroom. Now I'm looking forward to a very nice, relaxing weekend. So I hope you enjoyed coming along with me. If you did, don't forget to hit the like button, leave a comment down below, let me know what you thought or any question you may have. Also, if you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing and hitting the bell for notifications so you don't miss any future videos. I hope you have a beautiful, magical day, and don't forget to smile. Hello dreamers, wishers, and magical thinkers. Thank you so much for making it to the very end of this video and for showing your support. If you'd like to subscribe, you can do so by clicking on my picture down here. You can also check out my latest videos here and here. Don't forget to believe in the magic that's inside you, because you are capable of great things. See you next time.